Can you give it up to such an awesome leader like Sister Maxwell? Yeah. I can tell that she really cares. She cares for you and loves you. So you don't get that in every church. Trust me, I know. So make sure that you embrace the place that you have here. And I just want to declare this place right now a safe place. Can we declare this a safe place? And it's kind of hard because I know middle schoolers like to talk about everything in their mother, right? So, but we're gonna try to cover this as a safe place where you're not kind of sharing too much about what happens. Because I'm gonna share with you some. I'm gonna become vulnerable with you right now. So becoming vulnerable is kind of scary, especially in the great Adventist church where people, you know how they roll around here. But so I just want to be able to share with you. Your leader asked me to talk about mental health. So I'm going to talk about a little about mental health and what that means. Some of it might mean more stuff for you than others. But as we take these few minutes here together, let's just pray real quick. Lord, I just pray that you bless our time together. Help us to share with one another things that are happening now or maybe things that may happen in the future. Help us to share this right now with your Holy Spirit, Lord, guiding and directing our conversation. Thank you, Jesus. I pray in your name. Amen. Before I go on, I just kind of want to see the people that I'm talking to. Like, how many here struggle with anxiety? Like, you're anxious about different things. You're just anxious, anxiety. And some of you are kind of, all right. How many of you struggle like you're constantly sad, depression? Yeah, sadness, depression going on. Okay. How many of you struggle with like fear? You're scared of what's gonna happen around the corner. You're not really sure about that. He's like, oh, I'm raising my hand to all of them. That's what he said. Yeah, it's kind of struggle. So, these are all things that may stem out of your mental health, or they might just be normal. Normal anxiety and normal stuff like that. It just might be normal. I just want to start by saying that I'm not a mental health counselor. Okay. So I want you to understand that because I'm going to share stuff that I think is important, but I'm not a professional. So I'm going to put that out there right now just to let you know. But I do think that some of these things that I'm going to share with you is really good for you to understand. How many believe they have a healthy mental life? How many would you consider, I have a healthy mental life? More or less. Yeah, a couple of you. Okay. You raise your hand for everything. I'm not sure. How many of you feel like your mental health needs some encouragement? Yeah? All right, very good. There is a difference between mental illness, like you are diagnosed as mentally sick and you either have to see intense therapy or get some medication, or just struggling sometimes with mental anxiety and mental problems that you just need some help with talking to someone and leading them through. And you want to share something? Okay. I thought you wanted to say something. Okay. So I want to put that out there as we go through this journey because it's going to be short. It's going to be hard to kind of cover some of this stuff, but I'm going to try my best to be able to help you through it because I simply want to give words of encouragement, really. So if you have been diagnosed with something or you fear like there's something deeper inside of your mind that you need to talk to someone about, please talk to someone. Don't hide that inside of you. The fear of talking to someone sometimes messes us up more. And I don't want you to be there. I want you to be in a place where you can talk to someone because someone else might be able to help you through your journey. And that's huge. You can start out by talking to Sister Maxwell and saying to her, I need help. And I'm sure she can find someone to help you. So, and sometimes we don't do this because... let's ask this question real quick because this will help me. Who here is from Jamaica? All right. Who here is from Haiti? Sac passe? All right. Who here is from other islands, Caribbean islands and stuff like that? All right. I have met a lot of young people, and sometimes they tell me that their island family is very dysfunctional. And so I don't know if you feel like you come from a dysfunctional family. I can tell you that I come from a dysfunctional family, straight up. You would meet my family, not my immediate family, not my wife and my kids. We're a little bit weird, but we're not dysfunctional. I'm talking about my parents and my siblings. We cray, like for real. And so, but we have mental issues. So for example, being vulnerable with you, I have OCD. Now, I don't share those with anybody because OCD comes in different forms and shapes and ways. So if you don't know the OCD world, you think that OCD might just be, I got to sit in this table, I got to put my knife here, I got to put my plate here, I'm obsessing over making sure that everything is right here in front of me and all that kind of stuff. But that's not necessarily all that OCD is about. OCD people obsess over different things at different times. For example, I'm OCD dirty. What does that mean? If I go into my bathroom and I see water on the floor, clean, distilled, purified water, my brain tells me that's urine. Walk around that because that's disgusting. That's urine. It may not be urine, but my brain is messed up. And so because I think that, I have to say to myself, Juan, that's not urine. Come on, you can walk on it. You're going to be okay. So that kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that sometimes happens to an OCD dirty person like me. So I'm just kind of trying to share with you this because I want to simply say this to you. If you're struggling mentally, you are not alone, all right? Sometimes we feel like the only person in the world that is struggling, and that's not true. And I can share with you more stories about how my mind works, but I don't want to scare you. So also with my son, he's been diagnosed and he takes some medication for it. He needs therapy. Not that son, my middle son. He takes therapy for it and he needs help as well. Through that process, we found that out, especially when he hit puberty. So those of you who are growing up and you're in your middle school ages and you're hitting that time, you're going to transition from being a boy in middle school and becoming a man in high school. You know, you're going to go through some changes. It's just changing is just what happens when you're going through that process. And so that process means that you might change the way you think and even see life. And that changes your mind too. So my middle son went through that process, but he got what is passed down from my family, specifically my mother's side, into me and to him, which was OCD. Now that what he has it worse than I do. So he struggles. He used to walk around the house pointing down, up to heaven, down to devil. Up to heaven, down to devil. Why? Because he was obsessing over thoughts that were in his mind that he was struggling with. Like bad thoughts. And so he would tell constantly, I need God, those bad thoughts go to the devil, and he upset, and you would see him walk around that. And I had no idea what was going on. Like, I had no idea. Then we looked into it, we talked to a doctor, he got the help that he needs, he's doing much better at 22. That was when he was hitting puberty, going into high school. So why am I sharing all of this with you? Because all of us struggle. And that one of the first things that you need to understand is this, especially for you young adults over here. Remember that it's okay not to be okay. Sometimes we think it's a sin. And this is what I want you to understand. Sometimes we think it's a sin to not be well or struggle mentally. Like, for example, God doesn't love us as much, or that we're committing something against God. And I want you to understand that sometimes what you're going through has nothing to do with sin or no sin. It simply has to do with your mind struggling. For the longest time, I thought, for many things that came through my brain, that I was being possessed by the devil. But I had no idea that it wasn't that at all. It was I had mental health issues, which I found out later because when my son was diagnosed, I was like, oh, holy cow, that's me too. I'm right there. And so when I went through the process to find out, a doctor helped me through that process. But for a long time, I thought that the devil was attacking me like bam, bam, bam in my head and making me think different things. So remember that it's okay not to be okay. That you are not simply like considered in God's eyes bad because you have these things. Because everyone faces challenges. And acknowledging your struggles is the first step toward healing. So I want to encourage you again to seek support from friends, family, or mental health professionals who can provide understanding and guidance. Sometimes this is really hard when you're in a family that believes if you only have faith in God, you're going to get through this. Listen to me. I believe in that with all my heart. I'm a prime example of that. But also, other people that are professionals and helping you get through life with your mental health issues are needed. Sometimes some medication is needed. Do not think you don't have faith in God because you need to speak to someone. That's the mistake that our church has made, that I have seen my own mother make with my sister, is to tell her if she only had faith, she would overcome her depression. If she only had faith, she would overcome her anxiety. That is true, but God uses professionals today to help you get through it. Because I've also seen, unfortunately, young people who have been told if you only have faith, end up in a very bad place in their lives. And it's even worse because now they got the guilt of the problem they have and the guilt of God saying you don't have enough faith. So I want to encourage you to please remember that it's okay not to be okay. As you go through your journey, and I don't know what all your journeys are here, I want you to also remember this. Focus on small victories. So if you are struggling with something and you see yourself, okay, I'm doing better. I'm happier today than I was yesterday. Focus on that. Enjoy that victory that you are having that day. I have a friend who's an alcoholic in Jacksonville, and she goes to Alcoholics Anonymous, and she helps other people through that process as well. And she shares that today is a new day. That's part of their healing process. So focus on those small victories that you can have in your life. If you're feeling better, if you're not feeling as anxious, focus on that. Enjoy that. Embrace that moment, because those moments can continue to multiply in your life if you can focus on that. Progress may come in small steps, and that's perfectly fine. Celebrate those achievements, no matter how minor they seem. Recognizing and appreciating your efforts can help build resilience and motivation for further positive changes. So that's huge. Those small victories, celebrating them, enjoying them, can help you continue to do better. I know we don't have that time, so I'm gonna kind of like start landing the plane here. Like I said in the beginning, you're not alone in this journey. If you struggle again with anxiety, especially, that's really big now. Anxiety and depression and struggling with these feelings that we have inside, I want you to know that you are not alone. Like, a lot of people talk about it and are honest about it, and it's very important to understand that, because sometimes we feel like we're in this island by ourselves, and no one can rescue us. But you're not alone. Many people have faced similar challenges and emerged stronger. So not just focus on understanding that you're not alone, but hey, they did it. They overcame. They are better now than they used to be. And when you can understand that, you can understand that you are in that same journey. And you can also emerge stronger. So try to connect with some support groups or communities where you can share your experience. There's a lot of stuff that's out there. If you're younger, make sure you speak to your parents especially, so they can help you through that journey. If you're scared to talk to your parents, talk to an adult that you can trust through that journey. I just want to constantly help you understand that connecting with us as a support group is huge. That support group could be your family. Maybe you have mental health issues, but your family is healthy from what you see. Maybe your family can be that support group. Since I don't know you guys intimately, I don't know how it is, but I want to encourage you to do that, because you can gain insight and realize that you're part of a larger network of individuals who are working toward mental health. Does that make sense? Is there anything here, before I kind of conclude here, is there anything here that you feel I haven't touched on that you want me to speak into? Yes, ma'am. Right. Well, I'll give you the political correct answer, right? And someone's bullying you in school, tell someone so that person will stop bullying you. Can I give an politically incorrect answer, Sister Maxwell? You nodded yes. Listen, if someone starts bullying you, punch them really hard. Listen to me. I've seen more bullies stop bullying when you attack them right in the jaw. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if it's physical bullying. If it's emotional or people talking bad at you, that might be a little bit different. But yeah, tell someone. That's the correct thing to do. But I told my sons when they went, my oldest son, went to a school in Madison County. In Madison, it was a Christian school, I might add. He was the only Hispanic in that school. This is like close to North Florida, where they all talk like this. That's right, Madison County. So it's a different world up there. So up there was some kids bullying my son. They were pushing him and nudging him and doing stuff that was not right. So I told my son, if that happens, just knock him out as hard as you can. You might get beat up afterwards, I don't know. But at least they're going to respect you. So my son knocked out this kid, and that kid never touched my son again. I know it's crazy, it's crazy. Hey, listen, if you get in trouble, just know you're going to get in trouble. Like these are not things that will not get you in trouble, and these are not things that I should be saying. And I apologize, Sister Maxwell. I'm just being true. So, all right, there you go. All right. So, last thing that I want to hit. Is there anything else you want me to hit on that I haven't hit on? It's from the young people. From the young people, is there anything that you feel like, hey, I need to talk into this real quick? So, we do not have the time to talk about that. But I will say this, if suicidal thoughts have ever crept into your mind, please talk to someone. You may not think you are important to anyone when you have those thoughts, but you are important not only to your family, not only to the people that know you, but you are most important to God. And God has a mission for you. And He loves you, and He wants to do something in and through your life that is going to be awesome. But you can only do that if you are alive. So please understand that there's more to live for than to die for. And so I encourage you to talk to someone. And that's all I'm going to say there, because that's a huge thing, and we don't have the time for that. I do want to talk about this real quick. You guys know what dopamine is, right? If you don't know what dopamine is, it's this little chemical in your brain. I'm just going to try to put it down very basic. It's a feel-good chemical. Like you feel really good when this is happening in your brain. It's like, it's like your reward. Like your brain it feels so good when the dopamine is going and stuff like that. And so they have found out this dopamine loop that takes place using social media. So I don't know if you guys are using social media, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever it might be, but using social media can lead to physical and psychological addiction. Why is this important? Because it triggers the brain's reward system to release dopamine, the feel-good chemical that I talked about. And it's actually a neurotransmitter involved in neurological and psychological function. So what does that all mean? Social media has a reinforcing nature. Using it activates the brain's reward center by releasing dopamine, a feel-good chemical that links to pleasure, like eating food. Like, who here likes to eat food? I love food, as you can tell. So I feel good, and so that social media does that. And also social interaction. Why is this important? Because when we are, and this is just what they did to be able to hook you guys up. I'm just letting you know this is like what the creators of these different forms of social media like TikTok and stuff like that, this is what they did. They want you to keep watching them. And so that releases that feel-good thing, and you're like scrolling, and you're happy, and it's funny, and you're laughing, and it's great, and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, when you put that down, the dopamine thing isn't going hard and strong. And you kind of feel down. So it's been proven over and over again, like by a ton of different kinds of studies, that when you have, I'm not dogging against social media. We do have digital missionaries in social media, so I'm good with social media. But if you're using it as something that hooks you to always feel good and be happy, it's going to mess with your brain. Because at times in your journey, you're going to feel a little bit down. And you're going to feel kind of like, man, what's wrong with me? It's because you have constantly been feeding that brain chemical, and now it's stopped, and your feelings going down. So when they talk about young people having this increase in depression, an increase in anxiety, and it happens to be linked to an increase of social media use, there is no, like that should be a hello, yeah, this is part of the problem. So I'm not saying stop using it, no, but I'm saying check yourself. Understand that sometimes it's good to have a downtime. Hey, sometimes